Welcome back to the channel. You are watching Journey with us. We are a digital nomad family of 6 living in a small town in Tanzania. Now, today I have 2 incredible tips for you that I really need you to understand, and I really want you to get this because the times we are in, these are unprecedented times. Why? I don't know if you guys pay attention to certain news or like economic trends and things like that. But I believe it was last week or 2 weeks ago that Facebook announced that they were firing 11,000 workers. 11,000 workers. They are not the only company to do this. There have been a lot of companies that are doing this, a lot of layoffs. You guys have been commenting and saying, people have been refined to just working 1 day per week at their jobs, whether that's being a dental assistant, being a medical assistant, doing hair, whatever it is. People are being laid off because we are in unprecedented economic times, right? And so I want to provide some help for you because this can be a stressful time if you're used to depending on a job. Now I have not worked at a 9 to 5 in 6 years. That's crazy to say. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. So what have I been doing? I'm a freelance writer and consultant. I'm a marketing strategist. So I help big companies and small companies alike earn more revenue. That is an in-demand skill set. Why? Because when there's a recession, people are worried about their money. They're worried, and this includes businesses, not just you guys. Businesses are worried about their money. Small businesses, medium-sized businesses, in all industries. People, if you live in a town and there's like a dentist up the street, they're worried right now about their revenue because people do not want to spend money because they're not sure if they're going to have it in the future. So now, the question is, what can you do about that? And this is for anyone in the world. Understand, this is for those in America, those in Tanzania, those in Kenya, those in Canada. This is for you wherever you are in the world. It is time to stop being an employee because here's what's going to happen. Either they're going to fire you or you can create a side hustle and leave them. Those are the 2 things that are going to happen. Or you can hope that they'll, keep you on. Maybe they will keep you on for a while. But at some point, they're going to suck the life and the value out of you. Why do I say that? Because I've seen it firsthand. Believe me, I've seen it, and it happens. They can steal your retirement. They can, decide to take whatever they want from you. They can cut your wages. They can say, you know what, we're going down to doing 10 hours per week, 5 hours per week. And you, when you're in a spot where you do not have a side hustle, a home-based business, something where you're bringing in an extra stream of revenue, then you're in a very difficult spot. And in a recession, that is going to be very hard to get out of. Why? Because people need jobs. There's going to be an increase in people needing jobs, but not enough jobs for the people. So instead, what you need to do, take out the equation and say, I don't need a job. What I need is to make my own revenue. And that's actually how we were able to become digital nomads and travel across Tanzania, because nobody employs us. We employ ourselves, and we're not restricted by a job. We're not restricted by an employer. We're not restricted by a corporation. Instead, if we decide to work to a corporation, number one, if we decide to, because we're selective about who we want to work with, if we decide to work with a corporation, we are the asset that's being brought to the table, right? So if you're in your 9 to 5 right now and you're like, I need to find a way out of here, or I need to find an extra stream of revenue while I'm working here so that I have some comfort, so that I can be good if they decide to fire me, or good if things decide to go down the drain, this is the time to do that. So this can be, and I'm just going to give you some ideas off the top of my head, but I have entire playlists filled with ideas, 40 business ideas, online business ideas you can do for every industry. So many ideas. But off the top of my head, freelance writing, social media marketing, very entry level, virtual assisting. Now, if you're someone that's not entry level, maybe you're a doctor or you're a nurse. Did you know there are medical professionals on Instagram right now? I'm telling you, you can go follow them. I'll try to leave some of their links below, that have businesses teaching people how to leave the medical industry, or consulting the medical industry for marketing, because that's something that if you're not a doctor or a nurse, it's difficult to know all of the technology and medical stuff that you need to write blogs to bring website traffic to those businesses. And so that's something you can do. Number one, get another stream of revenue. Number one, like that's a must. You need to have multiple streams of revenue. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so number two, to prepare for the recession with hiring freezes and just talking about how to be sustainable. Like, and these are things that we've done, that we do. This is our lifestyle. Number two, move to a small city. Move out of the big cities where rent is sky high. We no longer live in the biggest city in East Africa, Dar es Salaam. Sure, it's cheaper than America, but relative to smaller cities around Tanzania, it's still expensive. And we know this going into a recession, right? So we have to fortify and we have to have self-control. And we have to really be able to think not for now, but for in the future. So if you're in America, get out of the big city. I know that's difficult in America because there's, if you're black, there's, racist people. So if you can get to an area, if it's possible, get to a safe area that is a lower cost of living. And then if that's not possible, my suggestion, and I will always suggest this until I die, literally, I will always suggest this. Leave America. Seriously, leave America. That's my number one suggestion. I've been suggesting this for more than 2 years. This has been my focus in life since 2015, leaving America. And so, yes, that I will always preach that. I will always teach that. I will always say that. Leave America. Why? Because the cost of living is astronomical compared to basically everywhere else on earth. Literally, Europe is cheaper than America. I'm not saying you should go there at all, but it is. It's a fact. Europe is cheaper than America. Africa is way cheaper than America. Asia is cheaper than America. And so this idea of the American dream and all, I'm not going to get into that in this video, but I'll link a video that's about that. Anyway, get out of America because the cost of living, you pay $2,000 per month to rent a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment. It's crazy. When here in Africa and other parts of the world, we live in a 5-bedroom like mini mansion that has another property attached. And so that frees up our money so then we can invest in other projects and other things to bring in more revenue so that our children will never be broke. They'll never be poor. They'll never be in this situation where they just don't have enough for no reason. Like there's no good reason in America. And I was actually watching a podcast earlier, and I did not know this. I should try to look up. This lady was saying that, gosh, I'm going to try to link it in this description because it's it's crazy. So she was saying that in I think it was the 20s or maybe the 40s, sometime back when they changed the education system. So it used to be that you would learn 4 core subjects. So you would learn religion or the Bible, you would learn taxes, then you would learn math, and you would learn reading. Those were the 4 core subjects, right? So with Bible, taxes / entrepreneurship, reading, math. Now, in today's world that we live in, across the world it's like this. Depending on where you live at, you learn reading, math, then you do some algebra and some geometry. It's not just basic math. You got to do the extra stuff. Then you got to do your art class. You got to do your music lesson. And then you have to do science. Then you have to do different types of sciences. And then you have to do social studies. And you have to learn different types of social studies. And so you're learning how to be a student forever. You're learning how to be a worker. And so when you go to college, you go and you end up getting all this debt. You're $60,000 in debt, $50,000 in debt, and you have nothing to show for it, nothing to show for the degree. No real estate purchase, no, business that you own and that you can pass down to your family. No skills that where you can actually go somewhere. It doesn't even have to be online. If you're good at business, you can go out, create a product, and create revenue for yourself if you need that. You don't have that ability because they have been strategically teaching us from school all the way to the time that we grow up that you should just be a student. You should go work for J.P. Chase Morgan. I'm calling out J.P. Chase Morgan because the founder is the one that actually published this. I'm going to link it in the description. He said that he wanted people to be workers. He didn't want other small businesses to compete with his big business because business drives economies. Business is like the lifeline of the world, basically, right? And so with that, we have been strategically placed and strategically taught, black and white people, all people. It did this when they did this, it didn't matter. They was like, look, everybody can be a worker. Y'all can all be workers. That's what they want. And so they strategically taught us from kindergarten all the way up, go to school, go to college, get in debt. Then once you're done with your debt, go work for $15 per hour, $20 per hour, $25 per hour. It's horrible. These institutions, it is truly horrible. So in this recession, when they're laying people off, when they're doing, the stuff that happens when, you're a capitalist and all of these things, it's time to get skills, number one. Get some in-demand skills. In-demand skills during a recession. The main one is going to be some type of sales, because businesses want to create revenue when a lot of people aren't buying. And then anything that you can do to create revenue for that business. So creative marketing, graphic design, websites, stuff like that. There's so much out there. And then if you're more of like an in-person type of person, you can actually, whether you're a teacher, it doesn't matter who you are, you can tutor people on the side. You can, if you do hair on the side, but cut costs. Don't go into these large cities and try to get these places and establish this huge empire when your money does not match that, because you're going to be in a bad situation that's going to get very, very difficult to get out of. Instead, work your business from home. Be strategic. There's one more tip I have for you, and I learned this from a client. It's called Profit First, because I work with a lot of finance coaches and finance firms, and I had never known this until I worked with them and had to read the course material and all of that stuff. And so the idea is that 50% of everything you get, and it can even be higher than that depending on where you live in the world. Like if you live in Africa, you can save a good 60 to 70% of what you make and invest in something else. But the idea is that you save 50% of what you make. 50%. That may sound crazy, but a lot of people like to get McDonald's, like to get Starbucks, like to get Netflix, like to get Hulu, like to get nails done, like to get hair done, like to get this, like to get that, this, that, this, that. It goes on and on, right? What are those things in your life? Cut those things out. Cut them out. You'll be surprised on a monthly basis how much you save. Put that money in the bank, or take it out the bank and put it in your hand, or translate it to some other resource like land or real estate, whatever you want to do. But take 50% of what you're making and hold it. This is why Meta is laying people off. This is why these big companies are laying people off. They're taking 50% of the things that they own and they're not giving it out anymore. They're not hiring people anymore because they know they have to hold on to their resources, because this is the time we're in. So it's time to be strategic. It's time to be a minimalist, right? It's time to not spend as much money. Find ways to save money, make more money, manage money wisely, and get your money back. Like, stop spending it on all of these things. So that's my spiel. I could actually go on and on about this, but I'm not going to do that because I have not been outside today and it's very beautiful. So I'm going to let you be with that information. Now, if you want to become a freelance writer, or you want me to help you one-to-one to teach you how to actually go out and start your own side hustle, I actually have this program. I helped one of my clients, Tyler. She moved to Costa Rica and became a freelance writer in August, which is incredible. And I helped her to do that because I sat down and we created this 12-month roadmap. Can you see this? Maybe. We're trying here. We're trying to get things. Yeah, that's unfortunate that you can't see. There we go. 12-month roadmap. Freelance Writing 101. We created a 12-month roadmap for her business. So that without me, she just needed to work with me one time. After you work with me one time, we'll create this roadmap, and you have step by step everything you need to do month by month to create revenue in your business, to create a sustainable business, to even register the business in a foreign land or in the land that you're currently in. I do that. My business is registered in America. And it's pretty awesome because I get all types of tax deductions and all kinds of fun things because my business is in America. So check out the link in the description. I can talk about this topic forever. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. But I'm not going to do that today because I'm thirsty. And I'm going to go outside and enjoy this warm weather in Tanzania. But leave your questions below. I will answer them. I see all of your comments. Leave your questions below. I'll answer you. And hopefully, you are thinking more strategically. Talk soon.